Hi, in this video I want to show you the new features that I added to ColorSplash, but I also want to answer some of the questions that I've been getting most frequently. One question that I've been getting quite a bit is how to delete sessions. The easiest way to delete a session is just to use your finger and swipe sideways on the session that you want to delete. And then this delete button pops up and you can just click it and the session is gone. The other way is to use this edit button at the top right. If you click that, you get these minus symbols on the left here, and you can use those to delete the session. In the previous version, it wasn't possible to delete this very first, the previous session that gets automatically saved whenever you quit the app. And several people requested to be able to delete that as well, and so now you can. So I click the minus here, click the delete button, and it's gone. Okay, so that's that. I'm going to start a new session, and I'm going to use this picture of a yellow bird on a yellow background. When I load it up, it gets converted into black and white, and I'm in the color mode, and I can use my finger to bring back the color in this bird. The size of the brush is roughly the size of my fingertip, and a lot of people have asked for smaller brushes or a slider to control the brush size. And I did actually implement that, so now you can enable such a brush size slider, and I'll show you in a bit how to do that. But first off, I would like to say that I think the best way to use this app is not to touch the brush size at all, but instead use the zoom feature. So using two fingers at any point, you can zoom in as far as you want to and work on small details. So for example, this bird foot here. I can get in really close and work at the pixel level on tiny details. Let me just finish that. So as you can see, this tiny detail, it's totally possible to be extremely accurate without changing the brush size just by using the zoom feature. Okay, I'm just going to finish this bird quickly. Okay, there we go. Not the best possible job, but not bad at all. Okay, one new feature that I added is the ability to invert the colored and the grayscale regions. So sometimes you might mask out, like you might paint an image, paint an object in the image in color, and then you would like to see what would it look like if that object was in black and white and everything else was color. And so now you can do that. So if you go to the menu, at the very bottom here is a new item, invert. If you select that, you can see now the bird is in black and white and everything else is in color. I think in this case it definitely looks better the other way around, so I'm going to invert it again and go back to this. Now, as promised, I'm going to show you how to enable the brush size slider inside the app if you would want it. So you go to the Settings app, and then you scroll down to the bottom and find the ColorSplash entry. And here there's a whole bunch of settings, and all of these settings are described in the help page. The one that is new is the one up here, Show Slider in App. And if we enable that, we do get the brush size slider inside the app. The brush size slider above here has been there before. This one controls the size of the brush when you first start the app, so it's the default size of the brush. And what I did change is the range of the sizes here is a lot larger now. Before it just changed it a tiny bit, like the smallest setting and the largest setting weren't that different. Now the smallest setting is really tiny and the largest one is pretty large. It's the same as the brush size slider inside the app that I'm going to show you now. So I enabled that here. And now I'm going to go back, start the app again. I'm going to resume the session. Okay, there we are. And now if I bring up the brush selector here, you see that it looks different now. And we have the same four brush choices as we had before, but now we have this additional slider at top. And if I hit the slider, you actually see in real time down here what the size of the brush would be. So you can go down to like a single pixel if you really want to, and you can go up to like a pretty large brush. Okay, so for example, let's see, if I was trying to color this foot now with a tiny brush, I could do that. But you see the problem here, my finger completely covers what I'm doing. And so in theory it could be really accurate, but I personally find it pretty hard. So personally I recommend, as I said before, to just leave the brush size at roughly finger size and then just zoom in and work like that. Okay. So one more thing that I want to talk about is this red mode. A lot of people have been getting very confused by this, and so let me tell you what it does and what it doesn't do. What it does not do is paint your image red. So this is not a feature to add color to the image. ColorSplash will always just bring back the original color or turn things black and white. The red mode only helps you to see which parts of the image will be in color, and so that's useful. For example, if you have like a sky that is just like a tiny bit of blue, but mostly like gray whitish. And if you want to turn that black and white, it can be very hard to see, and if you missed a spot somewhere. And so this red mode makes it very easy to see that. In this case, for example, well, in this image it doesn't help too much, although I do see that I missed like a whole sliver on the bird here. So I can correct that. Okay, not doing a great job here. Anyway, so that's the idea of the red mode. So the red color, when I save the image, will never get saved. It really is just a visualization help. The saved image will always look like this. It will be color and black and white. Finally, I want to briefly respond to an issue that quite a few iPod Touch users have been reporting. And that issue is, if you save an image in the application, it gets saved to the saved photos album. But when they look at the saved image in Apple's Photos viewer, the image appears very blurry. It appears at a much lower resolution than the image that you see here in ColorSplash. And this is actually a bug in Apple's Photos viewer. This bug was fixed by Apple in the latest firmware on the iPhone, but it looks like they didn't actually fix it on the iPod Touch. But hopefully in the next firmware they'll fix it for good. For now, I put a workaround into ColorSplash, which slightly changes the resolution of the saved image, and that should prevent this bug from appearing, because it only affects images of certain resolutions. Let me know if you still run into this problem. Okay, finally let me end with a few seconds of shameless self-promotion and show you my other app, which is called Juxtaposer. In Juxtaposer you work with two images at a time, and Juxtaposer lets you combine these two images in fun ways. So as you can see, I can use my fingers to move the top image of the other image, and then as in ColorSplash you use your finger as a brush, but here you erase parts of the top image. And I'm not going to finish this here, but I think you get the idea. You can do lots of fun things really fast. Juxtaposer has tons of other features, but I'm not going to go into those now. If you're interested at all, please check it out on the App Store, and there should be a link under this video. Okay, that's it. I hope you keep enjoying ColorSplash. Thank you.